welcome to another episode of Remember This. Tonight I have on my show, and I'm so excited about it, the other members from Radio Daze. So this would be part 2 of the Radio Daze interview. We have with us right now, we have Vinny Lubrano and Andy Mattina. Vinny, Andy, welcome to Remember This.
Hello there, how are you?
Hi, Denise. Welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, your fans were absolutely loving the first part of the Radio Daze interview with Vincent and Tony, and so they want to hear more. They wanted to hear more backstories from the other members, so I'm so glad that you joined us.
Yeah, it was that was a good program that you guys had the last time.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. I was saying it's like behind the music. Who didn't love watching behind the music, right? And finding out the backstories of the performers and the songs. And
that's right.
Well, we have no scandals.
Yeah, well, Vinny and I right now are churning our brains out, so.
We can make some up? No.
Yeah, we have no scandals.
No scandals. And you stayed together, which is a great thing. You know, you don't find that too often with bands.
No.
I met Andy in 1974 at Bishop Ford. And we were all boys then. They used to put you in alphabetical order. So I was Lubrano, he was Mattina. He sat behind me. His locker was next to me. And Bishop Ford at that time was no uniforms. So I looked down, and Andy had written on his sneakers, Deep Purple, ELP, Kiss, I think, or something, maybe not Kiss, but, And I said to him, wow, you like those bands? I'm into those bands too, And so we became friends from that moment on. So that was 1974.
Right, yeah, we used to go over to Vinny's house and listen to records.
Yeah.
On the
listen.
record player, 45?
Yeah, 46. While my father was sleeping because he worked nights, but it didn't matter. We used to listen to the music anyway. and then I used to play guitar. Andy didn't at that time. I played guitar, and I played with a bunch of different people. And then I started to play with Tony and a guy named Steve in our neighborhood. So now I'm playing with Tony and this guy Steve, and we had a bass player named Nelson, and he used to cut butter the wrong way. That's Tony's biggest memory of him. He cut butter sideways. My father used to go freak out. Anyway, so one day we lose the bass player, and I just looked at Andy and I said, why don't you play bass? And he's like, I don't know. I said, no, I'll teach you. Don't worry about it. So I taught him 25 to 6 to 4, I think, first.
Yeah, that was it. That was the first song. On a guitar.
On a guitar, right. It wasn't on a bass. It was on my Fender Strat. Yeah. And then Andy said, okay, I'll do this. So he went out and he bought a bass, and he took bass lessons from my guitar teacher, Joe Cacciola, on 41st Street and 13th Avenue.
Yep.
Wow.
And the rest is history. And I've actually played with Andy the longest out of anybody.
Right. I'd have to say, and also Vinny is my longest friendship. Like, I don't know anybody before him.
I think that's wonderful. So you guys grew up in Borough Park, as I did. I grew up in Borough Park. I went to St.
I was closer to the borderline of
Okay.
Borough and Sunset because I was on 12th and 40th.
Right, I was on 57th and 9th. So close, but
Yeah, okay. Yeah, close enough.
Close enough.
Yeah.
And Tony was around.
Those were the days.
Tony was around the corner from Vinny. So.
Yeah.
Now, did you get your records on, I think it was 41st Street and 13th Avenue. Do you remember that record store? Anybody?
Yeah, I remember it, yeah. And there was also the other one, Freaky Frank on 38th Street and 13th. Do you remember that guy, Andy?
No.
Yeah, he used to live with a whole bunch of dogs and a young girl. He was like a hippie. And that's where I used to go get my records. But
very cool.
I used to go to Corvettes too a lot.
Oh, I love Corvettes. Those were good days, good memories.
Oh, goodness.
And that's
a lot of your fans too, I believe, came from. Yeah, a lot of your fans are from Brooklyn, even though you play in the tri-state area. I went to St. Catherine's. For
Yeah,
8 years, and then FDR High School.
Yeah, I went to St. Catherine's and then Bishop Ford.
Right. Yeah. Bishop Ford was the school we went to. Yep.
My late husband went to Bishop Ford. I don't know if you knew him, Walter Boland. Graduated.
He's probably
graduated
younger.
in '79. Oh.
Oh.
No, we graduated in 78. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
He was
Okay.
around. I don't know who he was though.
Yeah.
But I know it turned into a co-ed school towards the end.
Right.
Last year.
Last year, the year we
Yes.
graduated was the last.
Yeah.
Um,
We made sure that we played the first dance.
Did you
that
really?
year, senior year.
That's great.
Remember?
Yeah. Right.
We played the last dance senior year, and then the first dance the next year when we came back.
By popular demand.
Yeah.
Now, how did it feel performing for these kids, and everybody was like going crazy? That must have been a great feeling, being on stage and everybody going crazy for your music.
Yeah, that's always good. That's always a good thing. I mean, I do remember it. I remember it visually.
Here, let's see if Andy remembers this. Do you remember the second after we graduated and we went back and we played, right? And we were a little different appearance-wise. We had
Right. We had hair
stuff, right? And remember Sister Peggy yelling at Drew.
Yes.
Rest in peace. Maybe these little girls want to look at your chest, but I do not.
Right. Yeah.
She closes. Yes.
Right.
But then afterwards,
It's funny the things you remember.
Tables. Wait, this is the best. They set up tables and they made lines, and we had to sign autographs. Do you remember that?
Right. Yes.
And I was thinking to myself, this is the most bizarre, ridiculous thing, like that I think I've ever. At that point, I was, I think, 18. The most bizarre thing I've ever, been involved in.
Yeah, we gave out picks and drumsticks and things like that.
Yeah.
In those bands, Tony was the drummer,
and he and I sang. Tony and I sang.
Both of you sang.
Yeah, and lead vocals, and then Drew sang background vocals. May he rest in peace.
Now, do you favor any genre? Rock, pop?
Well, I mean, I primarily have been listening to like a lot of jazz lately, just one record after the other. But it's not what I prefer. I don't know, but I like to play rock music. That's where it's really cool playing rock music.
A lot of fun.
I mean, if you saw my record collection, I worked in record stores my whole life. I worked in Titus Oaks. I worked in Zigzag. So I have probably 10,000 CDs, 7,000 albums.
Wow.
I have a ton of collection. I'm a music junkie, right?
You still have a record player?
I do. And if you saw what's in there, you wouldn't believe it. And I do like such a variety. Like I'll listen to, Kate Bush, and I'll listen to Air Supply, and I'll listen to Bob Marley,
Wide range.
And then I'll listen to Disturbed. So I go from one end to the other.
Right. That's good. That's totally good.
I listen to everything.
Yeah.
Well,
that makes for a great musician too, right?
I don't know about a great musician, but it definitely opens my mind up to, but what do I prefer? I prefer to, I prefer to play rock music, which I think lately we're playing less and less of, right, Andy?
That's true. We're playing less and less rock,
Yeah.
but it's all right. It's like we like to see people dance. That's the whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're more.
I mean, when people dance, then the band plays better, and it's just so much. It's so cool.
I noticed freestyle is making a big comeback now.
Yes, yeah, we do a bunch of that stuff, and I really enjoy playing it. It's propelling. It's pretty cool.
Well, I like the fact that we did pick some of the freestyle songs that I kind of liked. I like that Let the Music Play. I always liked that one. And Tell It to My Heart I liked. As far as the rest of it, I didn't really know much of it. But the last one we did, I forgot the name of it. What was the last thing we did? It kind of came out really well.
We rehearsed a few that we haven't played yet.
No. The one that we actually played. We played one.
Fascinated?
Yes, that's it. Fascinated. That's
Fascinated.
it.
Right.
Yeah. Vincent is responsible for those freestyle things.
Yeah.
Vincent drummer.
He puts the lineup together, right? He puts the lineup together.
He likes to make the sets. Yeah, he makes the sets.
Yeah, and he does. It's a damn good one. It's a good one.
Yeah, he does a good job.
It flows really well. And everything's organized in certain little spots.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
Well, whatever you guys are doing, you're doing an awesome job, because you are like the most loved, the most popular, I'd say, cover band. I don't want to just say 80s, because you don't just do 80s, but party band.
Well, we do only 80s. The only time we really get out of 80s is when we do a private event or something where they ask us, like a corporate event. We did a corporate event for a Wagner College homecoming where they asked us to do a 90s set. So we had learned a whole bunch of 90s songs. And then what happened was some of those 90s songs we ended up doing them at a club date the week before just to practice them. And so they went over well. So we said, the hell with it, might as well just do it.
Right. We also have a little, we also have a little block of like Motown tunes, like the Supremes and things like that.
That's nice.
So we
play for weddings, Barry White.
Right, Barry White. If people want to hear that stuff, we can. We have things to do.
Right.
We also play. There was a whole bunch of Beatles songs we played for some.
Yeah, we did a wedding that the person had quite a varied list. It went from Kashmir to the Beatles in my life.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
in my life, the Bette Midler version.
Yeah, but the Bette Midler version, right? Which we didn't find out until the night before.
Yeah. And you guys have a favorite song that you perform together? It's hard to just say one song, right?
Yeah, it's hard to say. That the name of my favorite song moves around a lot. I don't know. I mean, I always loved playing like "Don't You Forget About Me."
That's a good one.
"Keep on Me." I like to play a lot. Because there's things in there. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I have a favorite. I definitely love to see the reaction of people, like when we go from song to song to song.
Right.
And
See, I have a whole bunch of set lists here.
I like the transition. I like a transition. I like the one from "I Just Died in Your Arms" to "Everybody Wants to Rule the World." I love that transition, and I love to see the people like freak out when you start that signature beginning of "Everybody Wants to Rule the World."
Hear a reaction. Hearing a reaction is great too.
Yeah. And you have a following, so you have fans that follow you wherever you.
Oh, it's great.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes we look at each other like, this person lives in we're playing in Jersey and this person lives in Queens, and I'm like, really? Or vice versa. We're out in Long Island somewhere, and I see somebody from Jersey. It's like
that's fantastic.
You guys are amazing. That's fun.
I really appreciate that. You can't thank people enough. for doing stuff like that. You can't.
Yeah. I have one friend, she's like, oh, Radio Daze is playing here, we got to go. And then, you know, a few weeks later, Radio Daze is playing there, we got to go. You know, and yeah, because we love your music so much and it's so much fun being a part of it. You feel like you're at a concert with, you know, the real performers. You guys, very true.
The thing is to just do it right, you know, and just try to, you know, try to make it fun. And if you're having fun on stage, then everybody could see that.
Yeah, everybody sees that, certainly. Yep.
That's the main thing, that we have fun and we all like each other, you know.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
We'll
95%.
I'll have to bring in the rest of the band members to see if they concur.
Do you agree with that?
The good part about that is that we could disagree on something, and it's not, you know, it's usually just one or two of us just doing most of the disagreeing, right? And we could disagree and we could really go at it, right? But 1 minute later, it's over, because it's like you're fighting with your brother or your sister, because somebody you know your whole life. So you're not going to hold a grudge against that person.
Right, yeah.
You know.
Wow.
There you go.
Well, this is
Mars
great.
Star Power.
Okay, real quick, and then we're going to bring on the other members.
Okay.
Vinny, you're what's called a session guitar player?
Yeah, what happened was, when back in the day, I was hired to play on, I was recommended to play on a record by someone, and they liked it, obviously. And so I ended up hooking up with a producer and an engineer from a studio in Manhattan, and they used me for all of their sessions. And, you know, you play on jingles, commercial jingles, and a lot of, at the time, there were a lot of Ford models that were doing recordings, and you would play on their recordings. You know, I would go down and just lay a guitar track over a recording. I would get paid for it. In fact, we played in an original band, me, Andy, and Vincent. We played in an original band, and I personally loved it. And someday we're gonna definitely record that stuff, Andy.
Oh, that music is fantastic.
Yeah, that stuff is really good.
Right, because it was pretty collaborative.
Yeah,
like everybody in the band sort of wrote things.
And during that time, Denise, one of the sessions I did was for a guy named Fred Talixon, and he was a singer, dancer, actor, or whatever. And I told him, listen, I got this band. You want to come down and check it out? And he sang. He was great. And he sang with us for a while. And then we lost him. He joined the touring company of Cats. And we lost him for a while. And we could never really replace him. We never really found someone to sing with that quality, because he was really good. He came back from the Cats thing. He rejoined for a little while, and then he left again, and that project kind of died out. But I'm going to give a shout out to Fred. He is one of the biggest choreographers in LA right now. He has choreographed for Madonna, all sorts of commercials, Disney, award shows. He's won so many awards. He's just a talented guy and a nice guy, Fred Talixon, and he still comments on our videos. He'll watch us and say hello, like, "Hey Vin, how are you?" You know, he's a real talented guy. But that's one guy I met through my sessions.
Awesome, that's great. So you played a lot. You were in a lot of performances that nobody knew about, like
records, commercials, TV commercials.
Wow.
Yeah, you get paid and no credit.
Right, no credit.
You know, which is good. One person. I to this day I don't know if it's the actual. Her name was Deborah Mazer, and so I don't know if it's actually the
actress.
I don't know if it's the actress, because at the time she was just a model, you know, and she had done this 4-song EP. And I went down and I did the guitar tracks, and everything was fine. And then about a year, 7-8 months later, I get a phone call from her. and she was going to play some shows at the Ritz. And she wanted me to play, you know, and I said, no, that's okay. And I never did it. But I don't know if it's the same one. I know her name was Deborah Mazer.
Right. It could have been a different one.
It could have been. Who knows?
Right, right.
But that's my session stuff.
That's great.
Tons of stuff. Could have heard it many times, you know, on TV or whatever, but no credit.
Yeah.
Better that way.
Better that way.
You know, you got your money and you left.
Yeah, yeah. That's awesome. And Andy, you were dubbed the busiest bass player?
Oh, I certainly was at
New York City?
point. Yes, I mean, I recently discovered some old calendars of mine, and I went looking through them, like 2005, 2006, 2007, and I was never home. I don't know how I did it. I really don't know how I did it. But the thing was, I was the type of guy that if you wanted me to record for you, or if you asked me to record, I never said no. I would say no to a lot of gigs, but I would never say no to recording. And so that made me for years just recording and you know, for every band imaginable. And I am on 60 CDs. Most of them obviously just self-made, but still the number's there, you know.
Well, we're on 2 that weren't self-made.
Right.
We're on together.
So it gives tons of stuff, you know, but now I don't really do that too much anymore. You know, Radio Daze certainly keeps me busy. And, you know, I just enjoy the process of playing, the process of practicing, you know.
Well, guys, thank you. Thank you for that background information. And
Sure.
Yeah, we're going to bring on CJ and Valerie, but you guys are still going to stay on.
Yep.
Okay. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Butter.
You're gonna mess with me again? You're margarine.
Butter.
What is wrong with you? It says margarine on the label, can't you see?
Butter.
I don't believe you. You wanna mess with me? You're freaking margarine!
Friggin' butter.
I can't take this anymore. All you two do is argue every single day. Butter, margarine, butter, margarine, butter, margarine. Oh! That's it. I'm leaving you.
You see what you do? You make me get strangled.
Choked.
I didn't get choked. I got strangled.
Choked.
Look, now she's gone.
She's left.
Oh, man. You know what? I'm gonna strangle you. Come here. You wanna get strangled? Get...
Oh!
I'll teach you, okay? Now what are you? Butter?
Butter.
The flavor says butter.
Welcome back. And with us, we have CJ Smith and Valerie Abbey, the members of Radio Daze. CJ and Valerie, welcome to Remember This. Hi, guys.
Hello, hello.
This is like a reunion, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen each other.
Yeah, this is great. And your fans are loving this. You know, they loved the first interview. And yeah, here we are with the second one that they're going to love. They're all waiting anxiously to hear the other backstories from the members. So we'll start with you, CJ. Okay, right. So you played classical piano at the age of 4?
Yeah, so both of my parents are music teachers. And my mom in particular teaches piano, but so she kind of like encouraged I'm the middle of 3 kids. She encouraged all of us to take piano lessons. And actually, even though she's a piano teacher, she did not teach us. She took us to a different teacher. But yeah, so I started classical piano when I was 4, and yeah, I took lessons all throughout up through high school and such. So. Yeah.
And you enjoyed it. I mean, some kids, they're forced to take lessons and things that they just never even pursue because they don't like it, but you enjoyed it.
Yeah, like there was a point where there was like a specific point at somewhere along the process where my mom was like, okay, do you want to keep taking piano or not? And I decided to keep on taking. So yep, I chose to stick with it. And even though I haven't done a whole lot classical in quite a while, I still play a lot, obviously.
Yeah. So now what's your take on Bohemian Rhapsody? Because that was kind of like a little classical opera rock all.
Yeah, that kind of like combines a few styles. Yeah, that's a good song. And I've played it in like some, I played it like sort of, I haven't like played like a full version of it or anything, but I've played like short sort of kind of, I don't know, features of it within other contexts. And yeah, it's a fun piece to play, fun piece to listen to. Yeah.
Yeah, and the fans love it. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody recognizes it.
Yeah. So how did you join Radio Daze?
So Vinny, the guitar player, he actually posted on Facebook that they were. It was one of the Facebook groups that we both happened to be a part of. He posted that that there was this '80s cover band looking for a keyboard player, and this was, I don't know, like I was on these groups fairly regularly looking for some more music things to get into. So I saw his post and I messaged him. I was like, hey, I'm a keyboard player. I used to work on cruise ships. And I think that kind of like caught Vinny's attention because their previous keyboard player, Spencer, he also used to work on cruise ships. So it was kind of like, oh, so Vinny knows exactly, like, I don't know, he knows kind of some of my background already just from me telling him that much. So I think that kind of like caught his attention. And later on, he called me. This was like, he posted in like December or something like that. And so I responded to him. And then he like called me at one point over Christmas break. And we were chatting for a little while, a little bit more about my background. He was telling me about how the band works. And and then he sent me a list of songs, and like kind of all over Christmas break, I was just like listening to all the songs that I didn't know yet. Because some of them I had already played, but there were quite a number that I had not played yet. So I was listening to them over and over again.
To learn them.
Yep. So yes, and then in early January, I came down for a rehearsal for them to kind of test me out, in a sense, the audition of sorts. Yeah, and then my first gig with them was in late January, and that was a couple of years ago at this point.
That's awesome. Yeah, and you guys all work together so well. Like, it's like a puzzle. All the pieces fit. And like I said before, whatever you guys are doing, you're doing it right because you have a huge fan base. Everybody loves you, and they'll come, far and wide to come see your shows. So. Yeah,
it's great. It's great having like pretty much always there's like a ton of people. Like it's like, and I definitely understood this from playing on cruise ships, that it's like playing for almost nobody is it's like, even if you're playing the music great, it's kind of disappointing to only be playing for like 5-10 people, but that's like never an issue with Radio Daze.
It's like an airport lounge, right?
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, like there were times where we definitely did have a lot of people on cruise ships, so it was like, those moments are great, and it's nice because Radio Daze pretty much always has really good crowds.
You really have a great turnout, yeah, and you get that instant gratification because it's live, and you get that feedback right away, from the audience. So that's got to like really be exhilarating, right?
Yeah.
It's great. And Valerie, you're the newest member?
Yeah.
Well, everybody loves you. You're great. You're great. Tell us about what it was like joining.
Oh, joining. Well, I already, all right. So how I found out about Radio Daze is that I heard the band name through the neighborhood. And I knew that the drummer was a trainer at the gym I go to. And then I finally, which is Vincent Afatigato, and then I took his kickboxing class, and then I started taking his class regularly, and I kept going to see his band, and I was like, oh, this band is great, And then I guess long story short is that they needed a singer, and they were considering someone I've worked with before, and I was like, no, it's gotta be me. And then maybe a year later, I joined.
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
Yeah, we actually had.
Yeah, it was quite the journey. It was like
we actually had Valerie doing our sound for a couple gigs before she actually sang with us.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're sound engineer.
Oh, yes, I'm also a sound engineer.
It's great.
Hence all the equipment.
Hence the background.
Yeah.
Love it. And you also have, you're part of a goth band with your husband?
Oh, yes. We're in a band called Abbey Death. It's like a goth rock electronic band. It's pretty cool.
It's cool. And where do you perform? Is it also like New York area, metro area?
We do national tours. You know, usually if a band is looking for an opener, like we're not like a headlining band, but if we headline our own shows, it'll be like New York area, Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, you know, sometimes Florida. Florida we do really well. Detroit we do really well. LA is great. Everyone loves you in LA. So yeah, but you know, but usually smaller goth clubs, like we're talking about like 50 to 150 cap rooms. You know, I feel like Radio Daze shows are way bigger, some of them. It's crazy. There'll be like 300 people there.
So now, what do you guys miss most about, you know, not performing now that we're on lockdown?
Yeah, it's a little disappointing. It's like I do some other like music things besides Radio Daze, but they're all shut down because it's like you can't play for people because people can't gather to hear you, and yeah, so it's a little disappointing. Like, I don't know, I'm keeping myself busy with plenty of other things, but it's definitely not the same. I do miss like having the real energy of playing with the band and such, and in front of the audience getting into it is great. And well, obviously we're not getting that at all. Even if we were to we've talked about it, it's like, hey, can we like possibly do any sort of like live video performances? But we've had issues. A lot of the video programs, it's the delay is just a little bit too much, and we haven't been able to do that. But even if we were able to do that, that still doesn't give us like the audience energy. Right.
Yeah. Because what some performers are doing, not necessarily musicians, but I know there's like they're doing comedy shows through Zoom where they sell the tickets out and the people join the meeting, and so you get that audience participation, you know, because they're all there live, you know, watching you.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's maybe something that you guys could do in the future to consider, depending on how long we're under this lockdown.
Right.
So if you guys can sort of, get performances together, or even if you can show like videos of your performances from the past and just have a Zoom meeting and show the videos and something.
Yeah.
I think whatever you do, your fans would jump right on board.
Yeah.
You know, so
we've been doing solo videos on YouTube, like on our social media pages, mostly Facebook. You know, I think Tony did a couple of vocal videos, and you know, Vincent has his drum videos, like C.J. has his so you know, there's, you know, nothing could stop us. It's just I wish the means were you know, like they were, I guess.
Much more limited in our options.
Yes. Yeah, it's definitely forcing us to be a little more creative. Yes. Now, Valerie, do you have a favorite song that you sing with Radio Daze? Or maybe one of your favorite.
I like Thriller. Thriller's fun.
Oh yeah.
That was a recent addition, yeah.
It was a recent addition. And Heaven is a Place on Earth is fun.
Mm-hmm.
Heaven is a place on earth. They say in heaven, love comes first. Living heaven, a place on earth. Ooh, heaven is a
Some are really hard. Like some I like listening to, but they're really difficult to sing. So it's like, oh, but I really love Love Shack. That song is great, but it's
That's
like
a
the
fun
attention,
song.
the counting, the paying attention. Oh, that's like, if you're gonna nail it, that requires a little more focus for me.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Well, what we did was we asked some of your top fans questions for you guys. So when we come back, we're going to bring everybody on and we're going to see if we can try to get Tony and Vincent to join us. And then it'll really that'll really be a reunion, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Jim, would you like another cup of coffee? I have it in the bedroom.
Oh, yeah.
Gee, that's odd. Jim never wants a second cup of coffee.
We got you all together. It's almost a reunion. We're missing Tony and Vincent, but we'll get them next time. So we have, okay, these are from your top fans. Top fan questions. We have Marisol Acevedo of Staten Island asks, what music artist inspired you? So anybody want to take that?
I ain't taking that one, man. I ain't taking that
No,
one.
me neither. Too
I've
many
been
to
inspired
mention.
by so many different people at so many different moments.
Too many to
Wow.
mention at different stages of life.
Yeah. Wow.
All right.
I really want to answer that too.
I guess I've got like fewer years to pick from than some of them, I guess. But
Rub it in that I'm 60.
but I know, like, especially like I don't think I knew much about this artist until maybe college or so. But Ben Folds, I feel like I kind of really connected with his style of playing and singing. So I don't know. That's one of my influences, I guess I would say.
Awesome. Okay, Susan Bright from Brooklyn, another big fan. I think she comes to all your shows. She asks, how many rehearsals does it take until you get a new song down?
Sometimes it feels like a lot. I feel like we'll be practicing a song for a month before we play it live, if we play it live.
It kind of depends on the song. Like, I think there have been some songs that will like one rehearsal and we'll be okay, but there are other ones that we're working the details on for a while.
Well, okay. So I'm going to do a full disclosure here, guys.
Uh-oh.
Pay attention.
It seems like a lot of bands, especially the ones that play in the same circuit we play, same venues, do use a lot of pre-recorded tracks. We don't. We play everything live. So sometimes we'll pick a song that's very difficult that has multiple parts by multiple instruments, like a ton of keyboards, big productions, 5 guitar tracks going on at once, huge harmonies. So we tend to take longer on those songs because we have to find the right balance of what to play. Is that a good way to explain it, Andy?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I think that those are the ones.
That's important.
The simple ones, because we like to try to sound exactly like the record. So the simple ones, I think we knock them out, like CJ says, right away. Like sometimes we rehearse on Thursday, we play the song on Saturday. It's not a big deal. and we have to fit it into the set. But some things that have huge production value to them, we have to find our way through it. We always do. It just sometimes takes a couple of records to do
sometimes Vinny will be covering a keyboard part. Sometimes I'll be covering a guitar part if there's like more of one instrument than the other. And also, I think a lot of sometimes what takes a lot of time is getting the transitions, because we always like to fit it within a mix of other songs. So like getting from the previous song to that song, the new song, and from the new song to the next song, those transitions can take a while to work out as well.
Good point.
Yeah, there's a song that we're doing now that has 2 bass tracks. So I'm doing like the main bass track, and CJ's playing the one that comes in.
Yeah.
And out. So yeah, I love it. I think it's fantastic. It's just when I hear like another bass playing, it's like
Yeah, you guys work so well together.
We gotta put it in the oven and take it out when it's just right.
There you go.
It's not.
There you go. There you go. Okay, and lastly, we have from Lisa Lareska Kennedy from Delaware, originally from Borough Park. She went to St. Catherine's.
I went to school with her.
You know Lisa. Yep, I grew up with her. She lived around the corner from me. We're very good friends. Yep, and she's a huge fan. And she asks, due to COVID, are there any plans of performing indoors due to the capacity restrictions? So right now, I guess there are no plans at all.
Well, right now there's nothing, but to tell you the truth, the first show that we did have canceled was due to a capacity restriction. There were pre-sale tickets, and this was right at the beginning of it, and the venue said we can't have that many people in, so they had to cancel. And then everything just followed after that. I guess the bad news for us is we do get a lot of people in, which is good news for us. But the bad news is you're not going to be able to have that many people. And also, are people going to really want to go out when this is over? I think it's going to take some time. But in my opinion, I think by August, September, this is all going to be a memory. I hope.
I hope so.
Fingers.
Yes, I hope so. Yeah. And right now, I know this restaurant in Staten Island, he's turning it into a drive-in movie theater because he has a big parking lot. And who knows, maybe the venues are going to end up doing like outdoor concerts start. I mean, we'll see.
Who knows?
We'll see. Guys, thank you again for being on Remember This.
Oh,
and
thank you.
we are going to get you all back with the rest of the members. So we're going to have a real reunion with everybody. Yeah. So if you have anything real quick you want to say to your fans.
People just need to be resilient. You know, that's the most important thing, and to always be in the moment that you're in, because that moment could go away at any moment, obviously, as we have just seen, you know, but always look forward. You got to always look forward. People always accuse me of having bad memories because they say things and I don't remember what the hell they're talking about. But I think it's always because I was looking forward. You know, maybe I looked forward maybe a little too much sometimes, you know, or maybe I just have a bad memory. I don't know. That's about it.
Anybody else?
Oh, thank you so much for your continued support. Makes it feel like even worth doing, regardless of like whether we're quarantined or not. It's really nice to be able to still be in contact with each other, and you know, good times to have beyond this. And yeah, thank you. Thanks for having us. Really appreciate it.
We miss seeing you all at all the shows, and well, we hope we can continue soon.
I want to thank everybody, all our fans and everybody else for always thinking about us. I wish everybody stays safe. And when this is all over, we'll be back to playing some music for you and watching you dance and have a good time.
I just want to thank you all for being on our show. Vinny, Andy, CJ, Val.
You're very welcome. Denise, have a great day. Andy, CJ, and Val, I'll talk to you guys soon.
Yeah, good
All
to
right.
see you all.
Right
Thank
down
you,
to
guys.
that studio and get together.
Bye.
Okay.
Thank you,
See
Denise.
you guys
Thank
around.
you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
You see a faded sign up the side of the road that says